And we are in our Counterpoint segment, and we're speaking with Mr. Kristinn Agnarsson, Group Director and Business Development at Credit Info Iceland, and we're looking this morning at Credit Info Jamaica and how Jamaicans and businesses in Jamaica benefit from a credit report or a credit history system. And just before the break, we were actually mentioning the impact that this new facility, new industry perhaps, will have on businesses as against the individual consumer. And Kristinn, maybe you want to answer Dave's question a little more expansively in terms of how businesses will actually be able to take added advantage of the service that you are offering.
Yeah, so it's basically, as I said earlier, the credit bureau will enable two parties to build more trust between each other, two companies, to do more business. And I think, in few words, that is the biggest, benefit.
Yes, because right now there are a lot of businesses suffer from that lack of trust and a frustration because there's a huge bureaucracy to navigate. Is it possible to have your service tap into more efficiency in terms of that bureaucratic delay that always is such a hamper?
Yeah, I would say so. Typically though, if you are a business, if you have a company, you are usually just going with one bank. Businesses do not have loans at multiple, banks in general, I would say. But and the credit bureau, if business or a company has a loan in multiple banks or financial institutions, then the credit bureau can, help in that aspect.
What is the potential of the credit bureau as a business itself in Jamaica? What kind of spin-offs can we expect in terms of employment, training, and business development around this new industry?
Yeah. I would like to start by saying that when we came to Jamaica the first time in 2011, and we were doing some groundwork, we noted that when we went through the immigration at the airport, the immigration officer asked what we were going to do here, and we said, well, we're going to start a credit bureau. And the guy said, yes, we need it. We need a credit bureau. in most of the countries where we have been, people don't know what a credit bureau is. In Eastern Europe and they have no clue. But in Jamaica, they knew it. And they even, a lot of people, in the next couple of days after we came here, people knew what credit score was. People knew what credit score they wanted because, you have influence from the USA.
Right.
So, I think the soil for this credit bureau framework and the successful one is here, and that is our opinion. And what will happen is that, in terms of job creation, I would like to say, in Iceland we have a population of 300,000, 320,000, but we have a credit bureau that has 70 people employed.
70?
70.
That's not very good.
And that company is 17 years old, actually.
Oh. So what projection would you apply here in Jamaica? Could we look forward to many more people being employed? And
yeah, I would hope to see the same thing in 10 years.
But in terms of capacity at the moment, what is the capacity? And in terms of training, what are some of the needs that you've had to address?
Yeah, so obviously we need to train the users of the system, and also we need to increase the awareness with the general public about this, how will it benefit them, and also just, take responsibility early for your finances, your personal finances. And that is also one of the things that we see the credit bureau playing a critical role in, and that is educating the youth in a way.
Yes.
About, how important it is to take care of your finances early.
Well, we have spoken about the individual and we've spoken about the business. We do have problems at the national level when it comes to managing our finances. That's why we are now in an agreement with the International Monetary Fund. Do you have capacity to address governmental issues when it comes to rationalizing the credit information?
Now, what we do is that we favor responsible lending. With a credit bureau, you can do more responsible lending, and that is what the IMF wants to see. They want to see more responsible lending done to prevent over-indebtedness and things like that.
So perhaps it is that by building the culture of rationalizing the credit information from the ground up, it will affect the entire framework of economic development.
Yeah.
Well, Kristinn, let's be a little more frank about this issue of credit and living by credit, okay? Because in the United States, we have seen both the advantages and the significant disadvantages of people living by credit. How can we avoid that kind of situation in Jamaica, where people, since credit is going to be such a big part of pushing this economy forward, how can we avoid people abusing credit and getting so indebted that they can't pay their bills?
Yeah, it's a very good point. So I would like to say, responsible lending, we just talked about it, but it is basically the same answer here. That is the key factor. We need to educate the financial institutions about, they have to be responsible in their lending. Don't give someone credit that that, is not able to pay it back. And if it play this game like that, then we should you should not worry too much about it.
Right. I'm worried about the credit card though, the issuing of credit cards, because credit cards are a particularly disturbing monster in the wrong hands.
Yeah. True.
But actually, I'm looking here at a report from Scotiabank, and Monique French was concurring that Scotiabank is one of the institutions already on board. Maybe you could give us an anecdotal response to, somebody failing a credit information test. And what happens then? Can you improve your credit history after it's gone bad?
Of course.
How?
I think, you can. And this has also been happening, in the early stages of the operations here in Jamaica, and that is that people are going and restructure, their bad loans. And also financial institutions, they favor that, even though you have some bad things on your credit report or non-payments, and if you just show that, the behavior of trying to, fix it and restructure it, and that will actually represent your credit score as well. If you're showing the willingness to go into that direction, it will show on your credit score as well.
So you can improve on your profile.
Yeah.
I want to ask you a very simple question before we close off, and that's the credit score. What does it look like in terms of raw figures? What's a good credit score? What's a bad credit score? How much is it scored out of? That kind of basic stuff.
I would say a good credit score is about 700 and that. Average is from 500 to 700.
And how do you calculate that?
Well, we have a machine that calculates it. I think that's the best.
That's a short answer. So it's out of 1,000 then, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean we take everything that is sent to the credit bureau and we use it to calculate, and we also do evaluations every year where we look for variables that are showing strong delinquency or not, and then that will represent in the score for the next year.
So is it possible that if somebody pays their bill on time and that person is compared to, say, somebody who pays their bills late, would that be a criterion for selection in terms of ramping up your credit score?
Yeah, it's one of the criteria.
Right. So it's behavior change that people should be focusing on in terms of making sure that they can craft a good profile in terms of their credit history.
Yeah. That's a key word, actually. I think behavior change, and that you will see that in your credit score.
Okay.
All right.
Well, good that we had this conversation with you. So we'll make sure that we pay our phone bills and our water and light bills on time.
Sound like the guilty of something. All right, Kristinn, thank you very much. This was a very informative discussion.
Thank you.
Yes.
And success.
Yes.
Walk good.
We're gonna leave this counterpoint discussion this morning with an appropriate song.
Money. And that is what it's all about.
All right, take it away, Kevin.